Hello, Richard. See more better with freeprescriptionlenses.com, and today I'm going to show you how I cut transition lenses with Crizal Alizé for your Oakley Airdrop. It's the model number 8046. The color is 03, which is the gray shadow in the 55 eye size. So let me take everything out of the packaging that Oakley sends to me. Of course, you got a little bit of literature in there. Let's set this up right because I'm going to need that tool in a minute. Of course, your Oakley case. Make sure everything's in focus here. Your Oakley sock, which doubles as the cleaning cloth, and then the star of the show. Of course, it comes with a little plastic sleeve on the left temple to protect the temples from rubbing together while it's being shipped. And of course, I'm going to include that on there for you. But there's the Oakley, come on flashlight. This is the 8046 Airdrop, color 03 in the 55 eye size. So let's begin. I'm going to take out the original demo lenses, one of which says Oakley. Pop that out. And of course, you'll get all the manufacturer's original packaging to make sure that you are getting the authentic Oakley brand. I'm going to place the frame into the tracing element of my blocker, but first I want to program your shape into the computer, so years from now, should you ever need new lenses, this will be programmed into the computer and I can mail the lenses directly to your home. So let's go ahead and hit start. A little stylus is going to pop up and go around and trace the inside shape of the right side of the frame before doing the same thing on the left. Here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, where everyone loves a bargain and no one is disappointed in quality. You buy a genuine, authentic Oakley frame and you'll receive one free pair of clear single vision prescription lenses or non-prescription fashion lenses. My receipt has my federal ID tax number. So if you have vision insurance or a health savings account flex dollars, you will get reimbursed for this purchase. Of course, he did upgrade to the transitions and anti-glare, but your prescription lenses are free. So that is the shape that we'll be cutting. I'm going to magnify it onto the next screen. As again, that is the shape of the lens, that green outline. Let's go ahead and magnify it while I work on it. Your pupillary distance for your right eye is 31. The computer starts at 32.5, so I'm going to tap the minus button until we get to 31. Let's go ahead and raise the optical center. Come on. There we go. Optical center height up to about, well, where was that? That was a 16.5. Let me just go ahead and do 19.5. Let's go up 3. I'm going to write that down. 19.5. All right, we're going to come down here to the lensometer, get your lenses prepped. Your right eye reads -1 at 95, -1. Let's turn the axis wheel to 95, put the power drum on -1, take the lens out of the protective sleeve. Now it comes with even more protection. It has a little plastic laminate on the front of the lens that protects the lens while it is being shipped to me, even though it comes in a cardboard box. Still that much more level of protection for your lenses. Take that off. It's on -1. I'm going to put the lens in, rotate until the spherical component comes into view. Let's check your astigmatism correction. That curvature looks good. And then I'm going to put 3 dots on your lenses. Hopefully 3 dots. They're there. Let me just darken the third one. There we go. And this is the right lens. I'm going to go ahead and put the lens onto the platform. Let's do the same thing now for your left lens. -1 1/4, -75 at 96. -1 1/4, -75 at 96. Take the lens out of the protective sleeve. Pull the laminate off, put the power drum on -1 1/4, rotate until the spherical component comes into view, check the second curvature, which I'll explain later, and put 3 dots on your lenses. That right one over there is always the more difficult one, and this is your left lens, so we'll put an L there. If any of you missed any of that, let me recap. You know you're getting the bad jokes today. In fact, so you know that you're getting the authentic Essilor brand Transition Signature 7 gray lenses with Crizal. Of course, it says it up here. Airwear TR stands for Transitions, Roman numeral 7, GY for gray, Crizal Alizé with UV protection. Let me go ahead and highlight all of that. That is the power for your right eye. This is your left eye. You will be getting all this packaging to know that you're getting the real deal. That was your right. This is your left. So when you open up this package, you will see these in there along with it. Oh, you know what? And I forgot, here's a Crizal cleaning cloth. Let me make sure that gets in there too. So This is a block, or as I like to call them, Jenny from the block. I need to attach this to your lens while it is being cut. So I need 2 double-sided adhesive stickers, of which I've got a couple right here. And stick this one onto the first block. We'll do it again on the second one. Now on the back is a little silver button that is a magnet. It's going to do its job twice today. The first time, oh, that is a good adhesive. It's going to attach itself to another magnet there in the arm. Pull the paper away. Let's line up the magnet. And the reason why I put those 3 dots on there, it tells me that it's oriented in there just perfectly. That the blue cross is the geometric center of your frame. Your eye is just above that. This is a platform that the lens sits on. It was in the way, so I'm going to move it out of the way so I can see all the dots. I want to check one thing. We're looking good there. So I'm going to hit that button. The arm's going to come down and place the block onto the right lens. Let's do the same thing now for the lens that ain't right, just like me. Line up the magnet. Get the non-right lens. Your pupillary distance for your left eye is 32.5, so we're going to change that to 32.5. Same optical center height of 19.5. I have everything lined up perfectly. That black dot is the optical center, which is going to sit directly in front of your pupil. These other 2 dots are lined up. It tells me that it's in the oriented in there perfectly. Just want to make sure the lens is large enough. You can see the outline, my thumb, my index finger. And then we're going to place the block onto the left lens. So this is the edger. This is what's going to do all the work while I run my mouth. It's actually quite dirty. You think I would have cleaned it knowing I was going to have company over. Oh well. But the actual cutting wheel is over here on the far left. It's going to act like a heavy grit sandpaper to grind away the lens material until it's the final size. This wheel in the center with that channel, that little valley, that's what's going to put the V-shaped bevel so it stays inside the bevel of the frame. We can go ahead and take the right lens, press that on there firmly. Well, actually, let's go ahead and pull up the shape onto the computer. These are polycarbonate lenses. If they were plastic, high-index plastic or Trivex, I would select that, but we're going to stick with polycarbonate. I'm not going to polish the edge of the lens because it's not going to be seen in this frame. I'm not going to put a safety bevel on the front convex surface of the lens. I'm only going to put a safety bevel on the rear concave surface of the lens. Press that on there firmly. Go ahead, and now the magnet is going to do its job a second time today. It's going to attach itself to another magnet there in the chuck, or as you know by now, I like to call it the Charles because I don't know this machine well enough to call it Chuck. So I'm going to hit the green arrow, which is start. The door closes, the clamp shuts, making an awful noise because it's the first one of the day and it's still dry. That rubber gasket squeaks when it's dry. The lens is going to be traced by 2 white styluses, making sure it's large enough to go into the frame. And then, of course, the old carpenter saying measure twice, cut once. It's measuring the thickness of the lens at every point to know exactly precisely where to place the bevel so you have the least amount of edge thickness showing. Sorry, I hope you guys didn't miss any of that. I can't see what you guys are seeing. So, if you see light flickering in the background, there is water there to catch the optical sawdust as it comes off the cutting wheel. Polycarbonate lenses cut dry, where plastic, high-index plastic, and Trivex lenses cut wet, meaning that water sprays onto the lens for the duration of the cutting cycle. Now, water will spray onto this polycarbonate lens, but only for the last 20 seconds of the cutting cycle to wash away any optical debris that you see beginning to form on the edge of the lenses. But as I said, your lenses are made out of polycarbonate. Polycarb is 40% thinner and lighter than regular plastic. They are virtually unbreakable. These are high-impact ballistics grade quality lenses, the same type of material that our soldiers wear in combat zones overseas to protect their eyes from flying debris and shrapnel. It's also the same material that OSHA requires to have in safety glasses to protect people's eyes to do construction or other high-risk jobs where injuries could happen to the eyes. Now, you also have 100% UVA and UVB protection built into the lens, as well as a premium scratch coating. Polycarbonate. Of course, Essilor calls polycarbonate airwear because they feel it's as light as air. But I'll demonstrate the transitions portion in a little bit. But you have the anti-glare coating. Anti-glare is 3 features in one. The first feature is that reduces glare when driving at night, particularly driving at night in the rain, but from street lights, stoplights, computer screens, overhead, fluorescent lights, and the such. But it's also goes by the initials ARC, which stands for anti-reflective coating. So it reduces reflections as well. So when someone's looking at you, they're not seeing their reflection in your glasses. They see just your eyes, so it makes for much better eye contact. Plus, the third feature that I like the most, which is the practical side of the lens, is that the machine that applies the anti-glare coating, it costs well over $1 million. It takes over 24 hours to vaporize 8 different coatings onto your lens. So because of the time and the expense, they put the industry's hardest scratch coating on there to protect your time and investment. Now, if you notice, your lens is completely flat around the edges, just like a nickel. If I were to take it out, it would stand up on the counter on its own. Now it's getting the V-shaped bevel and that grooved wheel, so that it stays inside the bevel of the frame. You upgraded to both features, the transitions and anti-glare. I tell people if you only get one, get the anti-glare coating, because apart from putting your 20/20 prescription in, it's the only thing I can do that would literally make you see better. So, because it lets, all seeing is getting light to the eyes, the more light the better, and that coating lets all the light come in while keeping out any of the glare, or greatly reducing the glare. So you see water spraying onto the lens, which tells me it's towards the end of the cycle. A little lever came out. At the end of that lever is a spinning wheel, something you would find on the end of a Dremel tool. And that's what this little tiny round piece of sandpaper, if you will, and it's smoothing out the rear surface, the concave surface of the lens. Should any portion of the lens protrude from the back surface of the frame and come into contact with the cheek, the lens will be smooth, although you're not going to have any edge thickness. But the other reason I do it is that when I push, and I'll show you in just a moment here, let me go ahead and open up the chuck. Thank you, Chuck. Dry everything off here. Make sure there's no optical sawdust left, and there's a little bit there. Let me throw that in the trash. I promised my wife that I would keep my new lab cleaner. So, part of the reason I put the safety bevel on the rear surface of the lens is that as I push, I'm going to tuck the lens in the outside corner, but as I push down with my thumbs, I do not want, come on now, you know what, I don't think it wants to go in, so I'm going to take it down just a little bit more. In fact, let me go old school. Let me turn everything on, but let me see something here. Let me see something. I'm going to try something here. Let me put it in at the bottom first, just because of the angle. Push down here. Nah, it still needs to come down about 1/10 of a millimeter. So I'm going to go 0.05, which is 1/20th, 0.10, which is 1/10 of a millimeter. Press that back on there firmly, put it back in the chuck, hit retouch, and then the lens, I'm just going to take 1/10 of a millimeter off, going all the way around the circumference of the lens so it pushes in there easily. But as I was mentioning, that's the reason why I put the safety bevel on there, because as I apply force to the lens, I do not want it to apply force and mar or scuff the frame in any way whatsoever. So it goes straight back to the groove wheel, where it's going to take 1/10 of a millimeter off, going all the way around the circumference of the lens. A millimeter is the distance between my thumbnails. I'm going to take 1/10 of that distance off until it easily snaps into the frame. I do not want to force the lens into the frame. If you can imagine your frame is like a gutter, where it's like that, if I were to force it in there, it would cause the frame to stretch, or we in the industry call it roll. It would make the bottom of the frame roll outwards, shortening the life of the frame, as well as giving you an ugly cosmetic appearance. So you want a perfectionist like me cutting your lenses. I cut every pair of lenses that get shipped worldwide. Okay. Now let's see if it fits in there. I see a drop of water on the counter there. Clean up as I go. Open up the chuck. Take the lens out, dry it off. I was actually thinking about going old school and taking it down by hand, but I just want to demonstrate the capabilities of the machine. So again, same thing, tuck it in at the outside corner first, using my thumbs, press down the nose. Now it snaps in there easily, and that's exactly what I wanted to accomplish. Let's flip that over to L, which is the left. Line up the magnet there in the chuck, the Charles, the Chucky baby. Hit start. The door closes, the clamp shuts, and then the lens is going to, again, be traced by the 2 white styluses, making sure that it's large enough to fit into the frame. And you can see as it's going around tracing the shape of the frame. And just like before, measuring the thickness at every point to know exactly precisely where to place the bevel so you have the least amount of edge thickness showing, of which you have none in this frame. How about that? So let's go ahead. I'm going to pop the block off while the left lens is cutting. We'll come down here to my lensometer again, dry off that. Put my sticker onto this pile as it grows and grows and grows. We're going to come down here to the lensometer. We're going to turn the axis wheel back to 95. I only have to go 1 degree. I'm going to put it in above that black dot. And read the power, and I am getting, if I can find my flashlight, -1. Now the unit of measurement we use in the optical world is called a diopter, spelled D-I-O-P-T-E-R. Starts at 0 and goes up in quarter increments from there, 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1, and so on. So you're on the 4th rung of a ladder. You need 4 steps of far-sighted correction. You are nearsighted. With your glasses off, you can see up close great, but you need 4 steps of correction to see far away. That is why there's a minus sign. Everything is much too large, so it actually minifies down to the correct size. Now, once it's the correct size, we still have another 4 steps of astigmatism correction. Now, there is a stigma over the word astigmatism. It just means shape. It's like saying someone has straight hair or someone else has curly hair. You don't freak out when you hear that. But everyone freaks out over the word astigmatism. So uncorrected astigmatism makes 6's and 8's look alike of the letters P and F. So you need another 4 steps, giving you a total of 2 diopters of total correction. I'm going to check this. You have 2 curves on your eye. You have a spherical curve this way, which is -1. You have a second curve 90 degrees away, which again is also another -1. And it's how you line up those 2 curves. And we're lining that curve up at the 95th meridian. But I'm going to check that real quick, and we're coming up with -2. That's because when you algebraically add 2 minuses together, let's use terms everyone's going to understand. If you let someone borrow $1, then they borrowed another $1, they would owe you $2. That's where we're at, $2 in the red. So, but as I was saying, it's how you line up those 2 curves. A straight line is 0 to 90 to 180. And we're going to turn that fine tune knob just past the 90th meridian to about 95. Now your left eye, very, very close. In fact, it's the same in total power, but you need 5 steps of far-sighted correction, but you only need 3 steps of astigmatic correction. And we're going to turn that fine tune knob to 96, which is 1 degree apart, which is actually extremely rare. Most people are more different than that, but these are arbitrary numbers that could be anywhere from 0 to 180. These first 2 numbers are real values to be concerned with. That tells me the overall combined values of the eye, the powers. This just tells me where to place the powers. Now again, this frame, the Oakley Airdrop, the model number 8046, sells for $185. Now I cannot sell these frames on my website, but if you contact me, I'll see if I can't get you one as an authorized dealer. Your lenses are free. The transitions adds, I did recently have a price increase. It adds $59.99. The Crizal is $49.99 for a total of $294.98. So you're getting a pair of Oakley Airdrop with transitions, gray lenses, and Crizal Alizé for under $300. Who else can touch that? And verify that that is what you're getting. All the manufacturer's original packaging. Let's see who else out there can touch that price. So we're just about done here. I'm going to open the door with my mind. You like that? I can do other things with my mind. I can melt ice with my mind. I can. It just takes me a couple hours of staring at it, but I can do it. The only thing I can't do is come up with new jokes. So if you have a funnier joke than what I tell, write it down on a $100 bill and mail it to me, and I'll read it on the air and give you credit. You don't even have to leave your name. I'll recognize your handwriting. So, where's your frame? I've already lost it. Here it is, down here. Let's tuck it in at the outside corner. Push down to the nose. It snaps right in. Take this block off, dry that off with my hand, stick this on that side right there, come back down here to the lensometer, spin the fine tune knob to 96, put it in above that black dot, and I am reading -1 1/4, 1 tick mark away from 1. Let's check the second curve on your eye, and we're ending up at -2. Again, if someone had borrowed $1.25, then they borrowed another 75 cents, they'd end up at $2 in the red. That's where we're at. Your pupillary distance for your right eye is 31, 32.5 for the left, for a combined value of 63.5. I'm going to turn this around, place my PD stick against my thumb on your right lens, and then when we look on your left lens, we're getting 63.5, so that is perfect. Now, of course, this is the portion in every video that as I clean your lenses, I mentioned there's free shipping anywhere in the US and its territories or military bases. I do sell a lot to guys in the military. First of all, thank you for your service, and two, you do get free shipping to any military base anywhere in the world. That's something really, really cool. All right, I had to move the camera to get this into focus. But when you get these in the mail, there's a small chance that these could fit too loose or too tight. However, there's an 80% chance that one side is going to sit higher than the other. That is because 80% of people have one ear that is higher than the other, and I'm no exception. I'll show you in just a moment while I'm part of that 80%. But because of that statistic, 99% of all optical shops will do free adjustments if you ask them. But I'm going to get them in standard alignment first, also known as a 3-point stance. The 3 points are 1, 2, and the bottom of the frame being 3. I set them on the counter and press down. There is no wobble. When I say wobble, I take mine off and I set them on the counter and press down, and they wobble on the counter, but they sit level on me. For those of you keeping score at home, I am wearing my new Versace 3245. I don't know what color they are because I don't have my glasses on, but it's the blue with the shiny platinum temples. This also comes black and platinum, but you know me, I gotta rock the blue because I'm always wearing a blue shirt, or mostly always wearing a blue shirt. Flip this over, press down, there is no wobble. Close each temple to make sure they overlap perfectly, and they do. Same amount of tension on each hinge. Now this is what your lenses look like clear before the transitions portion has been activated. We close this up and I'm going to put them in my little transitions box. Hit that button. And as you can see, it takes about 30 to 45 seconds for transition lenses to darken. It takes a little bit longer when you come back inside, 45 seconds to a minute 15. Now this is important, Richard, pay attention. All transition lenses, as you see, will get dark on day one. Give them 2 weeks of exposure to the sun, and they're going to continue to darken every day for the first couple weeks that they're exposed. After that, they will work for years with maximum performance. The only time they won't be dark is if you're behind the windshield of a car. Your windshield absorbs all the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays, so your dashboard doesn't crack from sitting in the sun all day. And that's why they won't turn dark in a car. Now, if you have a convertible or a motorcycle, they will darken. Now, they're also temperature sensitive, meaning they'll get darker when it's 85 and below than they will when it's 95 and above. But I remind everyone that when it's 100 degrees outside, you're miserable, they're miserable. Nobody works 100% when it's 100 degrees outside. Now, there is now the Transitions Extra Active that will get 30 to 50% dark behind a windshield, as well as they'll get darker in hotter weather. It's designed for people who are extra active and spend more time outdoors. But this is the first time they've been activated, so they will continue to darken. Come on, Richard, we talked about that. Don't you remember? Sorry, my voice is cracking here. I'm just excited. I love this. The Transitions gray and that gray Oakley frame, that looks hot. That is banging. So if you like what you've seen, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, or you can follow me on Facebook or Instagram as freeprescriptionlenses.com. On Twitter as freerxlenses. If you have a question, you can email me at freeprescriptionlenses@gmail.com, or simply click the contact me button on the website. Or if you don't want to do all that, you can just leave a question at the bottom of the video that you've been watching. I can respond to that. Plus, other people will benefit from your question and learn from it as well. So as I continue to run my mouth, you see the lenses lightening back up to the original clear. So that's it, Richard. Hope you enjoyed watching as I cut prescription lenses with Transitions gray lenses and Crizal anti-glare for your Oakley Airdrop. It is the model number 8046, color 03, which is the gray shadow, and the 55 eye size. And hopefully, well, of course, I'm see more better, and you've seen that this is mo better, and then everyone else has got a chance to see how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. Thank you.